I never knew what I wanted to do when I came out of school, right? And then when I heard about property, it just clicked, because I've always watched Ryan Serhant, right? I've always watched him, and I've always thought, right, I'd like to be the developer on the other side of his deals.
This is not a podcast to just get you motivated and inspired. This podcast comes with the sole purpose to discuss strategies that we can all implement into our business right now that can increase how much money we earn. We'll hear from successful business people about marketing, sales, recruitment, training and mindset, the key principles to grow a business, make it recession proof and thrive in today's business world. You know, you're a young guy in business. Tell me a little bit about you, and you give me your 5-minute bio, as I normally say to folk. Where did it kind of start for you? Because guys, I mean, it's entrepreneurship's becoming the cool thing, but you've been in it for a wee while now, haven't you?
I mean, everybody's now an entrepreneur in some level. Everybody's getting into it, but I mean, I started out so pretty much. I mean, at a very, very, like, I'll take you back to even primary school. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, to be fair. But basically, at primary school, you know, I get a careers advisor coming into me, and she's like, "What is it you want to do?" And I just says that I don't know. All I want to do is own a big, tall building and have my office at the very top of it. That's all I said. And she looked at me as if I had 3 noses. She's like, "All right, good luck with that," and just sent me on my merry way.
You got a real job aspiration now, yeah.
Exactly.
And it's a shame that that's kind of the way they are, but you know, so your mind was already in like big things even at primary school.
I mean, I've always looked and wanted bigger and better and more. It's just, I don't know, it's just the way I'm wired. But so take you back to my working life then. So essentially, the minute I got my national insurance number, I went into sales. I got a job in a call centre selling windows, doors, conservatories, boilers for a company called Wellseal, right? And essentially just learned the ropes on how to cold call. And then I went to finish school, and I was still at that job, plodding along, and pretty much went to college for 3 months, and they offered me a job to go into a sales rep job. And I was like, how much money can I make? And pretty much as soon as he says the figures and they laid it out, of course, now looking in hindsight, that's a load of nonsense, what they said, shall we say, because, you know, it's a tiered system, and if you're not on the top of the tier, then you don't get a bigger cut of the pie type thing.
It's quite a common, the direct sales companies, it's quite a common tactic where a lot of sales companies, where what they'll do is they'll talk about, I mean, I suppose if it's there for one person, it's there for us all, but they don't make it as clear that that although you commission only jobs, you can make a ton of money. They always
speak in riddles.
They'll always sell you they always sell you the top package and all the rest of it. And but were you did you go out repping then? Were you out face to face?
So I went out for about, I'd say, 3 weeks, right? I earned a couple of commissions, but the thing I didn't like was I was having to sit in people's houses. I was 18, right? Yeah. And I was getting into, 40, 50-year-old people. Instantly, they're looking at me and they're like, who's this wee dick? That's exactly, I knew, sorry for the language, right, but I know exactly the way they were thinking. They were exactly saying that in their head. So when I'm getting in, and, there's some appointments, my latest appointment was 8 o'clock, and, you're getting in and they're like, pitch them. And, a full pitch should take you about 2.5 hours before you get to the close. So I wasn't enjoying the whole aspect of having to sit in somebody's house until like 11 o'clock at night until they said that to me. I didn't like that. And I left there after I had a bust up with the main manager. I was like, look, I'm not doing it anymore. And then I was sort of unemployed. And I was unemployed for about 3 months. And pretty much I was like, right, the only thing I'm good at is sales. That's the only thing I've done. So I was like, right, I'm going to go back into sales. And I went into a door-to-door canvassing job, and it was selling the wee key cards you top up at the shop, just transferring people's tariffs over. And essentially, I was shit hot at it. If I do say so myself, you know, the first week I done, I think it was 15 sales, and pretty much just started working my way up. And second week I was in there, they started giving me team members, and I started to build up a team. And I eventually had about, I'd say 6 or 7 in my team, and I was earning, you know, about £1,000 to £2,000 on bonuses and stuff like that, and obviously including my own sales, because at that time, you know, I think we were earning £30 a sale, I think it was, and I was doing, you know, minimum of 30 to 40 sales a week. And that was before, and then obviously I got my own personal bonuses, and then you got a team bonus and stuff like that. So I was earning about £1,000 to £2,000 a week, and I was delirious with the money. That was in crews and flannels every single Friday. As soon as I got my wages, I was in crews and flannels, spending every single penny. I love clothes, I love shoes, you know, and just I was spending it all. And that's the mentality though, like in those sort of jobs, is you work hard and play hard type of thing.
Yeah.
So you work hard and then spend all your money so that you work hard the next week. They encourage it, because they know that if you save your money, then you'll quickly leave there and go start something else. So if you spend your money, you'll stay there because you'll not get any money to go anywhere.
It's a well known from a sales manager perspective in these direct sales sort of jobs. There is nothing better than a skint salesman, because they tend to be hungry, motivated, and they go out there and they need the business. I've known, and unfortunately, now don't get me wrong, it'll probably change and through experience and as you go on, that because it used to be that with myself as well. I'm laughing to myself in my head, because I'm like, are you telling your story, Reece, or are you telling my story? Because it's very similar, where you would literally make some good money one week, and then by the end of the next week, it's pretty much all spent, and then you would make some more, and it was kind of up and down and up and down.
It just cycles, isn't it?
Which, when you've got no sort of kids and house and major outlays, then it's absolutely great. It's a great learning experience. So no doubt you learned a ton there.
I mean, see, to be fair, like honestly, that's the only reason I can sell, is because I've done the cold calling jobs. I mean, yes. I've got such a thick skin now to people telling me no, because every day I was dealing with, for every 10 doors I chat, 10 of them were saying no, until I got to that just wee GM that was willing to even have a chat with me. And as soon as somebody would have a chat, then I knew I was getting a sale, because I'm saving them money. You know, I'm no selling. That's what my mindset was. But I mean, for instance, I don't even think I could have the brass neck to even go do it anymore. I don't even genuinely think I could. Yeah. But I mean, some of them wouldn't even see themselves pitching what I do now. So yeah, it's weird.
It's no, you're absolutely correct. Those types of jobs on the phone, literally pounding the phones, door to door, and the sort of direct sales, commission only, your weather sales, your penny, your the ones that we're all aware of, and the direct sales companies back in the day when I was out doing that job, there was a big, massive solar panel push. A lot of them have gone. Weather sale have been around for a long time, but these sort of don't leave the house until you've got a deal type company. Now, it's not my style, but at one point in time, that was the life that I lived as well. Honestly, there is no better education, in my opinion, than experiencing that for a period of time, because it's ruthless, it's hard, it's long hours, it's unsociable hours as well. But it is a great education, and like you say, you can take some of that stuff and actually apply it to doing things professionally and better.
I mean, well, it's very true you say that, because I mean, anybody, like, I get a lot of young people, coming to me and saying, look, Reece, how did you get started and stuff like that? How are you so good at sales? I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the Mac Daddy at sales, right? But I know a little, enough to be able to close, the deals that I do. And I said to a boy, and I was like, look, if you can afford it, quit your job, make sure you have a little bit of savings, and get yourself into a door-to-door canvassing job. Yeah. Because the amount you will learn from dealing with that many customers on a day-to-day basis, and dealing with rejection, dealing with objections, dealing with closing, dealing with sales techniques, dealing with literally the mentality to keep going, just that full thing, that is what generates or what creates a real salesman. I believe anyway. It might be different to other people, you know, and other people couldn't imagine ever doing a cold call.
No,
Cold
I
calling
think it's
job.
spot on. I mean, it takes a lot of things to be a great a great salesperson, but you're absolutely right. That really hostile environment, rejection every day, successes, then you're skint for 2 weeks, then you'd have a great month, and that there, well, that's experience. You know, that is what kind of creates the character in someone. So I agree with you. It is part of becoming really great at selling. And I'm talking about sales because sales is a subject that I love, and it's obviously something that you really enjoy as well, and probably both one of our primary skills by the sounds of it. Do you still work on your, naturally, because I tend to think there's a lot of things that we'll do unconsciously in sales that, you just because you've spoke to so many investors, you've done so many deals, it becomes quite second nature to you. But do you still kind of hone and like read or learn or try and perfect sales skills or presentations, whatever?
I do, to a certain degree. Now, I will never ever say that I'm perfect at what I do, right? But I like to think that I've got my own little rhythm now.
Yeah.
That I don't need to change it unless I change what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I learned from obviously, one of my mentors, Paul. He's got, his strategic selling, like sort of a strategy that he uses, and I use that as pretty much my gospel.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I've learned in and out on how to talk to high ticket clients. And then I pepper in some of the cold calling techniques and the cold calling closing techniques.
Yeah.
The fear of missing out is one that I play on big when I'm closing people, and when I'm selling. Also just, I play on a lot of just creating a sort of a bond with someone so that, their pal, it's like almost like selling to your friend at that point, and your friend would never rip you off. And not that I would or anything like that, but, it's just creating that trust.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they're the main things that I really play on. I'll watch, I went and seen, it was a while ago now, I went and seen The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort actually pitching. My dad was speaking at an event with him, and essentially he got me a free ticket to his straight line seminar, and it was 8 hours, and he was just, it's strange because he doesn't actually teach you selling techniques, but he does if you look behind what he's saying. Yeah. So, he's talking about stories and stuff like that, and it's obviously to create that familiarity with him. And then, he goes into a close to sell something that he has, and see if you look at the way he's closing, then you look at the way he actually closes. So that's how I learned and picked up some of his techniques as well. I've done Grant Cardone's and didn't rate it. His was a pitch fest beyond pitch fest. So I went to the sort of a 10X tour in Glasgow.
It's one of you both of them. So I'm familiar with both of them, obviously, and I think you actually hit the nail on the head there, Reece. Is that, see if you can go with your eyes sort of wide open and go. Don't be sucked into the whole hype and all the all the sort of the flashy shit that comes with that. But if you can actually go and analyse they two in particular, there's actually a lot of really good shit there. And if you can sit there and analyse them versus being and whilst also getting caught up in the whole environment thing as well. But if you can, more importantly, just analyse these types of people, like you said you were doing, there is some really good stuff. I mean, let's be honest, whether you like them or not, those two in particular are quite polarising characters, but they've done a lot of maybe some bad shit, obviously, in their younger days. But they've done a lot of, you can't get to that kind of success, although we're talking about financial success, you can't get to their level and not be doing something right. It might be controversial, people might like them or not, but whilst they're still trading and they're doing things legally, you have to admire them to some extent.
Yeah, no, I love The Wolf of Wall Street, right? I love Jordan Belfort. I love the way he sells. It's very, very, very similar. His environment that he created, I just see a lot of it in the way that I was trained and stuff like that. So that's why I latched onto him.
Yeah.
I dislike Cardone because it's his way or the highway, no matter what he says. But don't get me wrong, you know, I picked up some really good wee golden nuggets and stuff like that at his event. But, you know, the other person that I watch a lot and try and act like a sponge with is Ryan Serhant. So he's, I don't know if you know him, he's $1 million listings over in New York. You know, he's sells 1.5 billion in real estate every year. He's just an animal, an absolute animal in sales. So, you know, he's dealing with £35 million 2-bed flats in New York every day. So, you know, to be able to hear him close on how he closes a deal like that and deals with such high net worth individuals, then, you know, that's where my sort of a cookie jar is, if you want to call it that.
Oh no, you're absolutely, and I think actually you've got a nice balance here, because you've got Grant Cardone is, like I say, there is some little nice things he does, but he's to me he's it's very unsophisticated selling.
Well, see, to be fair, it's his. I don't really take his selling techniques. I take his marketing techniques and how he markets, because if he can sell out stadiums with just talking shit, really it is, if you want to call it that, then, you know, his marketing must be fully on point. And that's what I take a lot of my marketing from. And then Jordan Belfort and Ryan Serhant is probably the selling techniques that I take. I don't really take Belfort's marketing at all. And Ryan Serhant's just obviously, he's one of the top guys that I really follow. And,
you could argue he's the top guy in real estate in the world. No, you're absolutely correct. I think, certainly from my perspective, Jordan Belfort is much more sophisticated and he's selling. Grant Cardone, you had to, again, right in the head, marketing-wise, getting people's attention, first class. There's no denying that. I like Ryan Serhant, and he's obviously banging your industry, so there's obviously that connection there as well. And he makes a lot of dough, and he seems to live a very good, you know, he just seems a good dude as well, doesn't he? I mean, he seems like a decent guy, as well as being a wealthy guy, running a big business, having a lot of sales sort of attributes that you can learn from. No, I think you've got a good kind of, is there anyone else that you kind of go, do you know what, I like him, or I like that part of her, or whatever?
There's no, because I try and keep it so small so that I can learn the most from them. And I don't like have like 16 different people that I'm all trying to learn from them. I just try and get the 3 that I really like, and then learn everything that they do, everything. So
I was leaving the door open for you to come in and say Paul and Billy.
Well, but that's what I was leading to. So just you wait a minute. But yeah, so with Paul and Billy, they are the only other 2 that I have, but they are.
That's a much closer. Yeah, that's a much closer thing to what you're doing.
See, they pretty much, they're my mentors, guides, my shrinks at sometimes, they are my gurus, if you want to call them that, you know, and my Mr. Miyagi. They really are. I mean, I'll tell you the story how I sort of met Paul and stuff like that. So my dad's really close with Paul. They've done a lot of business. My dad coached Paul at the very start, and Billy, just on some sort of selling techniques and some sort of online marketing strategies, because that's what my dad does and stuff. And basically, my dad was going up for a meeting just to catch up with Paul. And I didn't know who he was going up with. I was only going for the free Nando's, right? We were going to Nando's, and I was going for the free one, right? I didn't care who Paul was at the time. And basically, this was when I was still chatting doors, right? So I was earning a lot of money. I was walking about with the McGregor swagger. You know, I think I was the bee's knees. And then I walked in and just sat and listened. You know, just eating my Nando's, seen and not heard type thing when my dad's in a meeting. And then Paul just turned around to me and goes, "What is it you do?" And I was like, "Chat doors." And he's like, he's just like sort of aside and laughed. And I was like, don't knock it. I was like, I suggest you come out with me. And he's like, "I'm all right." And I was like, "What is it you do?" And he explained to me. And the more and more he explained, the more and more I was leaning in and listening. I was like, Jesus. And then I started asking him, like, right, okay, can you talk in monetary terms? What deals can be done, and what sort of what you can sell a deal for, essentially, when you're deal trading? And he's told me, and I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm quitting my job. So, but I didn't quit there and then, right? Because I was still in the money. My dad's like, you can't just quit your job and go do this. Like, you can't. And I was like, right, okay. So I went in to my work, and I'd say I lasted 2 more weeks. Paul agreed. He's like, look, come on to Protege. Come learn with us. I was like, right, I'm coming. Look, I am coming. Just wait there. And he's like, right, okay, the door's open for you to come in. And essentially, I worked for 2 weeks. The last week I was there, I'd done 5 sales. My head was so out of it. I was done with the whole environment. A few of my team members had just, that type of environment, very drug culture and stuff like that. And a few of them had gone down that path and get themselves sacked whilst I wasn't in. I took a couple of days off just to chill out. Got themselves sacked, and I went in and I went from 7 to 14 members, and I was like, where's the other boys? And they told me, and I never even got a text to tell me, look, go and sort your boys out. It was no warning. They just sacked them. I would have sacked them anyway, but I'd have liked to have known. And that again was like one of the nails in the coffin. And then that week, 3 of my deals cancelled, and I was like, oh man, this was a Friday, right? So I quit on a Friday. I went out onto the field, and I was like, I chapped 3 or 4 doors. I was in the roughest part of Glasgow, right? And I do mean the roughest part. And I chapped one of the doors, and the guy's like, he threatened me really bad. He was like, look, if you come to my door again, I'll slash you. That's exactly what he said. And I just phoned the main gaffer. I was like, I'm done. I'm so done. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. I'll get one of the boys to bring my iPad home. I was like, I'm not coming back. I'm not bringing any of the boys back. You'll need to get in my taxi. I don't want my week's wages. I'm done. And he's like, I knew it was coming. He's like, if you ever leave me, I'm here. If you ever want a reference, I'm here. Go and kill it. And I built up that relationship with him, and he never does that. He never done that with anybody. I knew the way he sacked people. He was so hard and so harsh, and he was very salesy when he's like sort of made an example of you getting sacked so that it created that fear of him. But he never done that with me. Partly because he never sacked me. I walked out, but in the same instance, he never needed to say all that, and it was good. It created a sort of a hunger that was still there, but he relit that fire underneath me. And I was very close to staying because he phoned me the next day and he's like, look, come into the office, we'll have a chat. And I went in, and he's like, look, we'll double your commission and stuff, and we just want you here. You're good to, we don't even, even if you don't want a team anymore, I just want you in the office and working. Just because he thought I was good at the sort of having me in that environment and getting everybody going. I'm just really motivating. But I was done. So the next week I went on to Protege, and I've never looked back. Never ever looked back.
And how long ago was that? When was that?
So that was, I'd say 2.5 to nearly 3 years ago. I would be 3 years ago in August. Right. So I'm very close to my 3-year anniversary, if you want to call it that. But I basically, sorry, people coming in, lockdown and that. Essentially, I went on to Protege, right? And then for a year, Protege's probably 3 years now, right? It is 3 years, because for about a year, almost a year, I never really done anything with it, all right? I sat in the classroom and I listened. And then my dad went into business with his builder at the same time. And the builder, not his builder, but his best pal, who's a builder, I should say that. And essentially, he took me under his wing. He's like, look, come out with me and I'll show you how to price up jobs. That's essentially what he said, right? And I learned so much. We done 4 buy-to flips together. I'd done so much renovation work with him. And I now know how to go into a house and say, right, okay, that would be X, Y, and Z. A new kitchen costs that, a bathroom costs that, windows cost that, obviously, because I know Wendy's inside out. And if there's a key card meter, I know who is with the gas and electricity because of the colour of the key. So that's pretty much where I got started. And then I was like, right, okay, I'm going to just source for my dad. That's what I thought I was going to do, right? And then my dad's like, I can't sustain you in a full business and stuff like that with just my investment. You're going to need to go out there and find investors. And I was like, right, okay. So we done our biggest job, right? This is what sort of led me to stop working with Big Mark. I love Big Mark. He was almost like a second dad.
And who's thing. Big Mark? Sorry, Big Mark, is this your dad's expert, your dad's business partner? Right, okay.
Aye. So he said, sorry, I don't know, I just threw in a name there, and you're like, who's
Big
that
Mark.
guy? Big Mark, everybody knows Big Mark. And essentially, he's like that to me, look, we're going to do this big one. So I sourced what deal that we done in Lindsay, all right? So the purchase price on this thing was 450 grand, right? We bought it in cash. And then we were in it for 16 weeks. I was there every single day in the snow. I was sandblasting the house. I was, just doing labouring stuff. I was taking out stuff to the skip. I was learning my trade, right? I think I had sawn about 4 planks of wood at that time, right? And that's about as far as my joinery skills went. To be fair, Reece, there 4 planks of wood more than I've done, so fair play on that. Do you know what though? I can lay a mean laminate flooring. Lay a mean laminate flooring.
DIY skills, I must say, are pretty poor, but no, yeah, I suppose it's like out in the doors. You learn so much from it.
Exactly.
Same sort of deal with the actually getting your hands dirty at the job. Actually learned a ton as well.
That's it. I mean, I learned so much from him, like so much, but it wasn't for me. I mean, I classify myself as a pretty boy, right? And I hate getting my hands dirty. I play rugby, right? But I hate getting my hands literally dirty. I mean, I don't mind rolling about in the mud with a bunch of sweaty guys. I mean, that says everything about my character, to be fair. But I don't like the sort of the grime and just being dirty all the time. But I stuck it out for a year. He knew I hated it. He knew I hated my job. He seen it in me. Like, just every day I was coming in and pretty much dragging my heels. I never thought I would see myself in worky clothes, like boots and, knee pads and just bogging jumpers. I never thought I'd see myself like that. But I'm not knocking it because I learned so much, as I says. But we done Lindsay, and I seen the financial stress that it put on my dad because he paid for everything in cash, right? So it was a 450 grand purchase price plus all the stamp duty and the fees and stuff like that. That's including all that. And then we done a £75,000 refurb, including fees, legals, stamp duties, everything. So all in all, I think we were about 435 in the hole, all right? But we stripped this thing back to the bones, literally to the bare carcass. And we perfected it. I mean, it was stunning. I mean, we nearly moved, like my family nearly moved into it. My dad's like, I want it. I was like, I don't want you to sell it anymore. I mean, the first day he drove up, right? It was on a kind of busy main road, right? But in Lindsay, that doesn't really matter because it was a sandstone villa. It's going to sell no matter what. But my mum and dad didn't think that. So they came in and my dad's like, what have you done? He's like, why have you spent this much money in a house? And he was terrified. But my dad's got no vision. Whether it's me and Big Mark, we're like, what's that? What are they two guys? Is it Gavin and what are the guys? Justin, Gavin and Justin, or something like that. What are they two guys?
The designer guy.
The designers.
I know the ones you're talking about. I don't know their names. But
I remember their names.
You had a sort of. You had that vision.
Colin and Justin. That's it.
They're kind of Scottish cult heroes as well in the design world, and we kind of remember our own sort of blood that way in terms of the Scottish celebrities. But for you and Big Mark were like the Colin and Justin.
Aye, type thing. And he was a builder as well. So he was doing all the joinery work and stuff like that. As well as, basically he was living in the jobs with me. He was constantly there with us, and the two of us were just tackling the thing. He obviously done the majority of the work. I'm not saying that I've done anywhere near what he done. I mean, he's unreal, and he's works like a Trojan. He's the best builder by far that I've seen, and I work with other ones now because he moved into England, and they are still on the same par. But really, I've never seen anybody work quite as hard as him. So that gave me a sort of a boost as well to see, how well he worked. But pretty much, we were in 16 weeks. We've done everything, even including the roof, windows, heating systems, 2 kitchens, Everything, we knocked down a wall, put in steels. And basically, when we were done, it was just like, Jesus, wow. And that's what made me think, I was like, I'm so done with this as well. I was like, it's time to go into business for myself. So we sold Lindsay, and it sold for 595. I think it was 595 or 600. Sorry for not knowing my numbers, right? But
No.
I think it was something like that.
There's good margin in it for you all.
Extremely good. Extremely good margins. But I don't think that we would, unless it was someone else's cash and I wasn't so involved in the financials.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that big ever again.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, we done a 2-bed flat in the West End in Kelvinside in Glasgow. Really, really lucrative, like, bit of postcode. And basically, 200 grand purchase price. We done a 20 grand refurb and we sold it for 255.
Yeah.
When I say refurb, I do mean including fees and tax and all
Everything,
that. Right? That is literally everything. And essentially, we made 25 grand on 35 grand. Sorry, on just really
a nice, easy, quick,
easy one.
Yeah.
Whether it's when we done Lindsay, it
was a proper struggle. Yeah.
It had a proper sitting dining, a proper, like, we called it the fancy room, right? I had a big sprawling fireplace, and we staged it all as well. Then it had a snug, and in the kitchen it had a big massive area for dining and a couch and stuff like that to watch the telly in, and a toilet downstairs and a utility room. Then upstairs it had 4 big bedrooms, each with a fireplace in them, and the bathroom was big enough for a full freestanding bath and an 1800 shower, plus a toilet and a vanity unit in it. It was that big, and you still had room to move about in the toilet, like a lot of room. So, I mean, you can go on it, if you go into my Instagram and stuff like that, and on my Facebook and my LinkedIn, you will see it. It's stunning. I'm so proud of it, as you can tell.
I mean, I know when you because obviously, as we've been taught, and it makes sense, is that you should most people do make that, and it is a mistake. Well, it's a mistake in some ways, but you learn so much in other ways. And I think even, like, say, Paul and Billy will agree with this, that you don't want to, for a long period of time, be doing the dirty work, getting your hands dirty in that way. But it is good to have a good understanding. It's great to tell investors, I've actually worked on the sites, I know how these things work. But after it's all done and you've put, like, literally not just your mental strength, mental sort of abilities into it, but you put your blood, sweat and tears into it, it is very satisfying to see when it's all done, and it is something to be proud of, there's no doubt. And more importantly, the best thing you get is the knowledge with it. So I agree with you. It's I can see why you go on about it, because it is, it's a big job, and rightly so, to be proud of it. What kind of, because what I'm really interested in is, now that you've done that, you've done a simple flip, a simpler flip.
Hi.
In the West End, and there's obviously other deals that you've done in between, but talking about the ones, what is it now that you kind of go, now that I've had a little taste of a few different ones, this is the one that I kind of like? What is there a criteria that you think, this is what it is, or are you?
I mean, so I've got 2 categories, right? There's the for other people category, where I go and source properties for investors now, and that category is whatever the investor wants.
Yeah.
So whatever their budget requires, I'll go get that. Personally now, we only look at 2-3 bed flats in the West End.
Right.
Or if they're like a terraced, semi-detached house in, your Kirkintillocks or your East Kilbrides or something like that. But predominantly, we're looking at 2-3 bed flats that we were done in Garriott Drive is what we done it in. And essentially, when we purchased it, it went so easy. The money wasn't that much out, it was still a big, massive amount of money, right? But nowhere near the stresses of 530 grand out of the bank, I mean, 2 Garriocks, then you have 2 assets that are worth that, instead of to your 1 Lindsay. So yeah, that's what my sort of a strategy is, and making them look traditional but having a modern twist is really what I'm really passionate about. That I sort of building a brand on the way I design and way I do up houses. That's what I really want to do. So don't get me wrong, I will go into the big, and if an opportunity like Lenzie ever came up again, 100% I would take it and bite your hand off for it, because now that we've learnt from it, we know how to manage it. We know how to pretty much not
make
do
mistakes.
what we done. Aye.
I done the same thing in a much smaller scale. The house, the sort of terrace property in East Kilbride that you talk about, that was my kind of first deal. It was actually my next door neighbour. I'd bought my next door neighbour. We moved in. The house was empty next door. I see that I knew it was empty. Obviously, I assumed that maybe they'd passed away, or it had, maybe the person was in care. I didn't really know, but eventually I seen one of the children or somebody coming up, and it was a son and daughter, and it was right. One of the parents had went into care. They were selling the house, and I was up for doing something with it. And I had an offer in my mind, but I was a little bit nervous about actually doing it. And because I took about 3 or 4 days too long to get back to them, they actually ended up going to an agent to sell it, an estate agent, but they didn't go to a traditional estate agent. They went to one of these sort of, technically they are an estate agent, but they're branded as an auction. You'll know the name. I don't want to give them any free publicity. But they're a Glasgow-based kind of auction house. And I'm like, no, I don't want this to go to auction. So I jumped in there and done a deal just marginally more than what I was wanting to do the deal at, but I was just a little bit too slow on it. Again, first deal. And made a shit ton of mistakes on it. Done far too much myself, spent too much money. Thankfully never lost any money, but I spent 6 months, 7 months to make a couple of £1,000. It was a big old, well, I can't say it's a waste of time by any means, because I learned so much from it, but quite often in these first jobs, that's what you do, and that's why you don't repeat these mistakes thereafter. Because you do make so many mistakes and you learn from it there, so that's quite normal. So what going forward then? You're in the property space. Is that now, because you've done a few different things, is that now that you are 100% committed to that is your long-term strategy?
Right. Yeah. So essentially, I never knew what I wanted to do when I came out of school, right? And then when I heard about property, it just clicked, because I've always watched Ryan Serhant, right? I've always watched him, and I've always thought, right, I'd like to be the developer on the other side of his deals. So that is where we're going, all right? But I'm very much so that I don't like using my dad's funds, right? I don't like getting nowadays, because I've started to build up a reputation of having investors and stuff like that now, right? So I don't like actually using his funds anymore. I like using other people's, and that's what essentially I set myself out as when I left Prodigy and I left working with Big Mark, that guy that everybody knows. Essentially, I went and made my LinkedIn so strong that I would be able to just go on. That's where, obviously, for anybody that doesn't do property, that's where every investor that I ever get lives, unless it's family and stuff like that. But yeah, I went on there and just created a sort of a brand around myself and just worked at it. And I let it slip, and it's only at about 14,000 connections now. But when I was growing it and stuff like that, it was growing at about 1,000 a week. It really was.
Because there's another great point for a lot of people watching. I mean, I think everybody knows. I mean, certainly you and I in the group that we associate in know the power of LinkedIn. But for somebody out there that goes, well, LinkedIn, they think LinkedIn's just like somewhere that business people, it's like the Facebook for business folk. It's obviously much more than that. How did you create your brand? How did you grow your connections?
So essentially, right, I was cheating.
And by the way, I know we could take 5 hours up on this subject, but
I know.
Give the highlights of some of the things
right.
that...
So essentially, right, I sat down, I know I keep saying essentially, sorry, right, I sat down on my LinkedIn and I was like, right, I'm going to go through people that I know are good in the property game, and I just took the bits that I liked off their profiles, all right? I tell everybody to do it. because if it's working for somebody else, chances are it'll work for you, right? So I took a wee bits and bobs, and and I got Paul to help me, and Billy, and my dad obviously helped me. My dad's just shit hot at online marketing and shit hot at LinkedIn. And then LinkedIn used to be weird, all right? And it used to be, I say used to be as if it was like years and years ago, but at the very start when I got into LinkedIn, you used to be able to just tap on connections, like constantly tap, 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 tap. And it had unlimited, and you could tap rapid, like, maybe do a couple in a second.
Yes.
Because it would keep on popping them up, and it was like a conveyor belt. So now they've changed the algorithm, and they've made you sort of sit there. Aye.
Yeah.
Which is, it's beneficial to me back then, but it's harder now. So what I would say is they've limited it to 100 people a day, right? So what I would say is do your 100 people a day, grow it, connect with as many people as possible, and put out content at least once a day, either in the morning or about 6 o'clock at night, because I that's when I post. And when I post, I want either me to be the first thing they wake up in the morning that they see, because what's the first thing everybody does is they go into their social platforms in the morning, or I want to be the last thing they look at when they go to bed at night, because at 6 o'clock people are having dinner, they're probably putting kids to bed and stuff like that. So by the time they look at it, I'll be there. I'll be like, hello, yes, remember me. So that's what I do. I've got certain times and strategies that we use and stuff like that as well, and posts, strategies and stuff. So yeah, but I'd say...
Sorry, Reece, you apply that strategy not just on LinkedIn, to be clear, you also Facebook, for example, and the other social platforms. So some of those techniques is you would apply across the board.
I mean, don't get me wrong, my Facebook is nowhere near what my LinkedIn is, and my Instagram is for, as I say to everybody, if you want to look at pictures of me and my girlfriend on holiday, go on to my Instagram, right? That's where I live. That's my private stuff.
That's not where you source clients. And that's your own personal thing and all the rest of it. That's fine. I mean, we're all out our own personal profiles as well. But your primary source of putting your shit out there is LinkedIn. Yeah, I've seen your content. It's very good. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in the mind there that you talk about, and we've obviously both been well trained by people that really know it very well. But where does the inspiration come for your content?
Honestly,
see on that is one of the things that when I speak to people, they're like, I wake up and I don't know what to talk about. I don't have anything interesting, and it gets very frustrating. But and listen, we all go through little mind blanks, but I'm talking about people can go days, weeks, possibly never put anything on because they think they can't think of anything. But what is your strategy when it comes to content?
So basically what I do is I go on, right, this is a dead easy one, and everybody has Twitter nowadays, right? So go into trending, see what's topical. If you want to have a chat about a topical subject, then Twitter's the best place to go. Type in news. Obviously now, with the news, you won't get any other news other than coronavirus. So that's out the window. But definitely Twitter is bang on for what's topical and getting a situation to talk about, a subject to talk about. Also, personal life, just have a chat. People like to know what you're up to. Especially on LinkedIn. If it's business-wise, people love it. They love hearing what you're up to that day. I mean, today I've put out a post on LinkedIn, and it was just saying, look, I'm randomly calls. I'm recording a podcast today, and who says lockdown is quiet? Right, that's all it says. And already I'm at about 40 likes, and I only put it up an hour ago. And yesterday I put up a post about, I can't even remember now, but it got like 10,000 views. And that's 10,000 eyes on my profile.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at it.
You imagine doing that every single day or multiple times a day potentially, it just compounds and become, well, you're talking about brand awareness. That's where you get, I think people, because some people don't realise that to build that kind of, it takes a lot of hard work that way. It needs to be, it can't be a few days you do, of course, it needs to be consistent.
Don't get me wrong, right? I let my LinkedIn slip, as I says, Scott, right? And I says, look, I'm going to kick it back up now. I'm sick of it. I was not getting a lot of leads, and I only was posting on LinkedIn business stuff, right? And it was only, look, come contact me now, is my call to action posts, as I call them, all right? Usually what I do is 80% is general chit chat, talking about topical situations. 10% will be telling people stuff that I'm doing in business, not directly telling them to come work with me. And then the other 10% is a direct sales pitch, where it's like, would you like to see the returns that my other investors are getting? Come work with me.
Yeah, got you.
So if you stick to that strategy, and say, for instance, the way I do it now is either on a Friday or a Monday I do it, is my call to action post. But the other days I split it up. So 3 days will be general chit chat, and then 1 day will be, talking about, what I'm doing that day and meetings that I've got, or, meeting that I had which went well, and just talking about why it went well and stuff like that. I know it sounds so mundane and so boring, and it is, but people on LinkedIn love it. I mean, I would much rather be talking about, rugby and the UFC and talking about what I had for my dinner. I mean, they're the subjects that really matter to me, let's be honest.
Rugby, dinner and UFC. I quite like all of those things myself. Here's one for you. What do you, what I mean, because obviously we've spoken about this before the podcast, or we touched on it when we had a brief chat. And I think we're all kind of aware of it, certainly people that are involved in the property, but the kind of negativity on the property, well, primarily the property education world, but property people in general. What's your thoughts on that?
So, property people in general, everybody thinks that you're just out there to grab money and you're a bad person because you're in property and you're there to scam people and you're there to take people's livelihood in their houses and you're a bad guy. A load of bullshit, right? I just call it as it is. It's a load of bullshit. But on the property education side of things, geez, wow, it's so bad. I mean, if you say that you've been educated by a property mentor or a property guru, as they all call them, and bad things, and you ain't doing business with anybody that isn't property educated. Let me be honest, right? Anyone that hasn't done, if you push yourself as a property education guy and you've done the course, that's why none of my sort of things say that I've done the course. And, Paul, I had a chat with Paul and Billy and that, and he's like, don't put it up, and they say that to me because there's now a sort of a clique, if you want to call it that, of people that think they're better because they learned it on their own. They don't need to be taught. They taught themselves. They're so good. They're amazing. And essentially, what they've learned over the last 10 years, because I learned it in 4 days, they think it's wrong. It's not my fault that it took you 10 years to learn what you learned. There's
a lot of negativity going. It's just interesting.
Absolutely.
Are you finding that or anything associated to that is kind of put you off your game, kind of rattled you a wee bit, or the industry or other folk, which just
So yes and no, right? So I now don't post in the likes of. So there's a group called, I don't know, should I name it?
Just name it.
So it's Spin, right? I think it's Scottish people.
I heard you talking about it actually on the last get together, and I must admit I was oblivious because I am not a consumer of much content online unless I actively seek out. I don't, like these groups. If actually groups annoy me, just because I feel I would rather just speak to you and get the good stuff from you than go to a generic group and see everybody's stuff. And sometimes it can be great, other times it's a lot of shite. And I'm not meaning any group. But that Spin, you'd mentioned it. I don't even know who they are, I'll be honest with you. But you felt it was just an attack on certain people.
Oh, it's just, there's some people, right, and they'll go on this, it's SBIN. If anybody wants a laugh, go on it and have a look.
I might just do it for fun.
Go on it and have a laugh, right? So one day I put up a post, right? I was sick of seeing it. So every day, right, people put up posts, right? And some people won't be from education. Some people will be from education. The people that are not from the education, they get, it's a great deal, well done, pat your back, you're amazing because you didn't go on a course. The people that go on the courses, they go on it and then they say to them, I can't believe you've done a course. Is that another scam? Can't believe you fell for it. Your deals are shite. That's pretty much, that's what their mentality is. So one day I went on to Spin and I was like, look, I called everybody out. I was like, do you know the negativity in here? See if you focus less on where people were educated and more. I mean, if you go on, I think it might have been deleted by now, right? But I got about 200 likes and I'm not even kidding, more comments than I could care to count, right? 95% of them were
good
all,
or bad, I was going to ask that.
95% were all in favour of what I was saying, right? But then the clique came in and oh my God, the attack that they done, it was unreal. And it was as if they'd sent it into a group chat. This is what I think. I look at what somebody's posted in here. Look at this. They've went, right, okay, let's go attack. And it was funny because I like it, right? I like stirring the pot. That's what I like. Sometimes when I'm bored, I'll stir the pot a bit and I'll give myself a bit of entertainment, all right? But one guy came on and he's like, you know, show me the deals you've done, show me them. And I sent him, do you know what, I private messaged him. I was like, okay, there's Lindsay, there's Gary. These are just my personal ones, by the way, because I'm not going to show you my investors ones. Right, there's Lindsay, there's Gary, there's the one we done in Cowdenbeath, there's the one we done in Alexander Parade, there's the one we done in Crow Road. Come at me. Look, if you want further details, I'll go and show you the numbers as well. And he's like, I was like, now your turn. I was like, what have you done in the last 3 months? And he sent me one buy-to-let he done. I'm not knocking it. Some people move at their own pace, all right? I was like, that's great, mate. Well done. Now, what is your point?
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, and he almost didn't have an answer because he thought that I was full of shit. And 95, by the way, 95% of people in property are full of shit. They genuinely are. But there's that 5%, and I'm all for it. I'm from that sales background. I'm there, fake it till you make it. And it's just purely marketing. I get it. I get why people do it. All right. And, you know, but coming at the other end, they think that this is the reason why it is, right? They think that everyone from the courses are all full of shit. And because they done it themselves, they're not, and they're the purebreds, they're the pure-hearted.
Real property people, none of these.
Aye.
I'm now a property expert. Like you say, there is. I think that's the key thing there. They kind of accuse or suggest that everybody that attends one of these courses is of that way. And there's some people out there that have never attended a course that are full of shite, and then there's some people that talk a lot of nonsense and do bullshit. And that's where your due diligence comes in to weed through that and not to it up. Probably more importantly, because you touched on it, and it's a subject I feel quite passionate about. I kind of get bored of, you know how when you see somebody that's putting stuff out on LinkedIn and they get some negative, they get some pushback, negativity, someone disagreeing with their ideas, and they call them, you know, haters, they call them, you know, like just negative people. It might be negative, it might be a hater, it might just be their point of view, I don't know. But people with a sort of a different idea to what your idea is, how do you, because no doubt you'll get them. What do you think of that, and how do you deal with that kind of bullshit?
I'm fully open to it, right? And everybody, I'm a strong believer in everybody's allowed their opinion, right? Because I've got some really weird opinions, right? And that's the reason I'm maybe like that. But, you know, I'm fully open to other people's ideas. It's when they come on and directly attack you, right? I don't stand. And you'll go on if you go through my LinkedIn posts and you see some of the comments, right, you'll have a good laugh as well, because I have fun with haters. If you want to call them that, maybe it is some other people with other opinions. But what I call a hater is they come on and say, basically, no, you didn't. That's what my hater is, right? They come on and say, prove it, or they'll say, oh, just because you went on a course doesn't mean you're a property guru, or didn't make you this. And you'll know what they are, right? If you're in property, you know the type of person I'm talking about. But I just deal with them in a way, because I'm not that I'm funny, I'm not saying that, but I deal with them in a very quick-witted way. I'm very quick on my feet when it comes to people throwing objections at me. It comes back to the sales. And I just love having fun with them. And some people take it, and it's all part of the banter, if you want to call it that. Some people get deeply offended when I go on LinkedIn and I and I'll shut a hater down, and they'll be like, I can't believe you spoke to me like that. I was like, well, don't come on my post and give me some shit. if you don't want shut down and me telling you that your ideas are full of shit, don't come on my post.
Yeah,
and see, the thing is as well, that's what I say to them is, look, if you don't like my content, just unfollow me or block me.
Move on, yeah, move on.
Aye. You know, it's what is the difference between 1 or 2 connections? I don't care if you leave my connections. I've got 14,000 others that will happily look at it.
Yeah.
You know,
interesting. So you well, one, you welcome other opinions. Do you block them? Do you? You've already.
No,
you go
I just
back
keep them there.
Good,
Aye.
that's fine.
I'll go back to them, and because I like other people's. I almost make an example of them, right? It's terrible saying that. But I make an example of them. Look, if you're going to come on my posts, then you're going to get shut down, right? And I leave the comments there. I don't delete them, because you dealing with it in an open space is far better. And a lot of people just ignore it, and that's why it keeps up. If you go on and directly deal with it there and then, and call them out on calling you out, it leaves them there standing there with their pants pulled down, and they're embarrassed.
You know what, Reece, I'm so glad that you actually have that approach, because that is exactly what I believe you should do. I actually think it says more about them than it does you from a negative way. So if they're on saying, well, actually, I think you're full of shite, Reece, and you've never done any deals, you've been on a 4-day course and blah, 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 blah. You're just taking people's money, you shark, and scamming them, and you'll probably lose it all. Some people would obviously say they're hating, they're negative, they're attacking me, block and delete those comments. I think that is just the perfect example, because listen, there's other people thinking that, but they just don't go on and say it. And I just think it's the perfect opportunity to actually go, well, actually, let me just be clear on it. You're right, there is a lot of that out there, but for me, this is my deals. You talk about Crow Road, you talk about all these different deals, the successes you had. I just think it's great content, and it says more about you that you've left it there for everyone to see, because everyone's allowed their opinion, like you said, and then you've put some other content out there, and at times it can be good fun as well, but for me, you learn a lot about it, because this is what people are thinking, but they might just not be typing it. I think if you make an example of it in a professional way, it goes for you. So I'm glad that you've actually brought that up. The reason being is that when you put yourself out there on social media, you're bound to get it. And I think people are too quick in jumping in and going, oh God, I better delete that in case a client sees it. I think you need to there's actually almost something about, see if it's just all 5-star reviews, there could almost be something slightly false about it as well.
Well, that's the way I am, you know, and if, don't get me wrong, there's been some deals, there's never been a deal that we've ever lost money on, right? But there's been some deals that's happened, and right at the very start, it doesn't happen anymore because I do enough due diligence now, but right at the very start, there was some deals that, you know, maybe the rent was £25 less than what I said it was going to be and stuff like that, right? Shit happens. But I'm fully upfront and honest with my investors, and I tell them that, and I tell them some of the stuff that's happened, and like, say for instance, some of the problems that happened in some of the refurbs that we've done and stuff like that, because I like to tell them, because it can happen to you too. Yeah. You know, you're coming to invest with me, you need to know that when we're doing a refurb, if we scrape back the ceiling with it's got that wood chip on it, and like, for instance, one of the jobs we done right in Garriock, I was scraping the ceiling, had wood chip on it, obviously it had been super glued on, and I scraped it, we left the steamers on, right, went to McDonald's, came back, beautiful day, we sat outside, longer than what we should have, the steamers were on for about 2.5 hours, right? But I went in, I was like, oh, this is coming off the diesel, and it was scraping, beautiful, brilliant, right? And I got to a bit and I had a wee bubble underneath it. I was like, that'll be fine, right? It's just probably the water that's gone underneath it, right? I scraped, and powder came down on my face. I was like, oh, I don't know what this is. I just kept screaming anyway. I was like, whatever. And I scraped it. Well, then I would say a bit of ceiling came down on my head. It was all that laughing plaster type thing, that just thick, just powdery plaster fell on top of me, big clump of it. A metre by a metre, nearly knocked me out. I was on a set of ladders as well, so it was obviously the double-heighted ceilings and stuff like that. But that was a cost that we never could have anticipated. You know, saw my ceiling falling down. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a massively expensive. It was just a wee bit of plaster that needs to be put on.
I tell you, see if I was going to work with someone, I was going to invest my money with someone, and I see if I was going to, because of course I do my own stuff. But if I was going to, and that's a great example, and actually having someone that's dealt with that's a great example. Because let's assume, because I might, although you've had some things go wrong in the past, and you know, thankfully now that happens very rarely, if at all. I'm actually for someone, the likelihood it is, well, something that will happen again. And as someone that does invest with other people, granted more in businesses than in property, I invest in property myself, but when I invest in businesses, I actually want someone like what you've went through, who's actually, because I don't want someone that goes, since the first deal I done, Reece, I've made profit in every single one, and I've never, I mean, I'm so good at my due diligence that I never actually go wrong. I'm like, oh, right, so see the first time you do go wrong, because it will happen. You experienced enough to deal with it. So I actually think someone that's got a little bit of had a little bit of a rough sort of start, and they've had different rough patches, but they've come through that and they're still going. To me, that's actually far more appealing to put my money with them than it is with someone that has like had maybe 10 deals in a row that have all went really well.
Yeah, but I mean, that's it. I mean, that's why I say it, Scott. Because at the end of the day, I know that it's in property, just everyone that invests, right? And if you're ever going to invest in property, and it doesn't need to be for me or anything like that, right? But if you're ever going to invest in property, know that by the law of averages, something in your properties will go wrong at some point.
Absolutely.
Right? Even if you're investing in buy-to-lets where you're not doing any refurbs and stuff like that, you buy the property, 2 years later, the boiler packs it in. By no fault of the tenant, no fault of yours, shit happens. So I can't put that into the costs, you know, but I always like to tell people, because, you know, I like to not scare them at all by any means, because property shouldn't be scary, but I like to let them know just what can happen. Because if you go into investing in property with the mindset that it's as safe as houses, literally, you're setting yourself up for failure. You really are. Yeah. Whether it's when I now invest, when I'm going to my meetings and stuff like that, and somebody contacts me that wants to invest with me, I'll say to them, right, I'll take them through their investment criteria. I'll get everything I need to know to be able to go start working for them. They'll pay their deposit with me and stuff like that. And then I'll sit and we'll have a chat, and it will be throughout the meeting and stuff like that. I'll tell them and stuff, but I'll let them know some of the deals we've done, some of the problems we've incurred, you know, and just past experience. You know, I've done that many and sourced that many deals now that the law of averages says that something goes wrong. But now, and only now that I've learned so much in the last 3 years, can I safely say that I genuinely know if something's going to go wrong. I know just from looking at the house, from looking at the market, looking and speaking to the likes of your estate agents, your letting agents, if a property is not going to get rented out for a period of time. I do all of that due diligence now in the background before I even take it to an investor. Yeah. So I eliminate all possibilities to the best of my ability of something going wrong. Yeah. But as I say, I can't foresee a radiator valve busting, or I can't foresee, you know, fucking the worst weather we've ever had in the last 3 years and your roof starting to leak. Yeah. You know, that's just stuff that people can't foresee.
You know what you do, and from a sales perspective, is when you're talking to that, when you're explaining that to clients, and you're right, you can't foresee it, but because of your experience, what you can promise them you'll do and what you can guarantee them you'll do is the minute that the roof goes, the boiler goes, you are
there to fix it.
Immediately, you've got the experience to deal with it, and that's the kind of person I want to put my money in. So see, when I've invested in some businesses recently, I've had some people where they've had some failure. You know, they've went bust, had problems. Not quite bust, but they're at the point where all revenue is stopped and they've got, you know, they're not solvent any longer and they need some support financially. And after obviously doing your due diligence, I want to know what they've kind of learned, and because I don't want somebody that's back when I was starting out in my own business. It was solar panels, it was the renewable energy. You could have been a dumbass and made money out of it, and people actually get caught up in their own hype. They think they're so good at it, and then when they come against some challenging times, they don't have a fucking clue what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, something you've said there is that you learn and you can immediately respond because of all these sort of trying times. I mean, see somebody that can come through this virus pandemic shit and still have a decent solid business thereafter. They've done something right. They've weathered the storm and they're still been able to trade. That's the kind of people that I want to network with, be partnerships with, invest in, people that have had that type of experience. So the fact that you've had some rough sort of deals, although they're relatively minor, that's good. That's far better than somebody out there that's just had a nice easy run at it. You've got far more experience than most in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. Well, let me just, before we finish up then, how's in terms of, because ultimately at the end of the day we're only just people. So how are you kind of staying fucking hyper focused in your task? What are you doing now to get you going forward? What's you doing to make sure that you come out of this whole shit fucking good and stronger?
Well, now the hyper focus and the complete focus I have and the 100% focus is on bringing in new clients. The reason we're doing that is because I've spoke to so many people, so many economists, so many people that follow the market so much that there is about to be a recession, and best case scenario, 2008 is best case. Worst case, it's like Great Depression level, and at that time, if you have never invested in property before and you need that little help on finding the properties at below market value and stuff like that, then in a time that there's a massive recession, it's where you create, and people with money create generational wealth. Genuinely is. So buying properties when there's a recession, you're able to get them at 30% below market value. I'm not saying that, but just as an example, right?
You can. There's deals, bigger deals or small. Right, yeah. But again, and this is the thing with dealing with somebody like yourself, is that although everybody and anybody can do it, see, dealing with a professional, you've got a much better chance of being successful at it than, if you've got some cash. If you've got some cash, and you're wanting to go into that world of property, even if it's just your first couple of deals, I would suggest also working with someone like yourself in order to get some sort of, partnering with people when you're going into something new is very, very powerful. So I think that's going to be, for people in your world, is going to be a big sort of, for the people that are good, for the people that are still here, we'll make it the other side, working with people like you will be the best thing for aspiring investors.
Well, see, that's the thing. The 99% of the people I work with have never bought a property before in their life. They've never invested in property before. They don't know strategies to use and stuff like that. That's why people come to me, because I start, the main business that I do is I build people portfolios that cash flow, each property positive cash flow of about between £240 to £250 per month. We always try to aim for at least 15% below the market value. So if I can aim, and if we can achieve that, then the portfolio that we build you will be second to none. And that's my sort of everyday task, is to get the properties that match that criteria. So yeah, that's what we're looking for as well, Scott. I'll just may as well say it. Get the plug in whilst I can, mate. If anybody's looking to come and invest in property, even if you just want to chat about it, I don't mind coming on the phone. We can sit for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, as long as you need for me to answer your questions and just have a chat about it. Let's have a chat.
Where would, if somebody was going to want to reach out, we've talked about LinkedIn, where is the best place for people to find you if they want to have some form of conversation with you?
Best place is LinkedIn. It's Reece Devlin. Reece is spelled REECE. Devlin's the usual way. You can go on my Instagram as well, ReeceDevlin.1, and Facebook is Reece Devlin. You'll be able to see me. I think I'm pretty much the number one Reece Devlin, and when you search it. So.
Talking about branding and all the rest of it. Do you know, Reece, like I says, I one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because there is so many people, business owners included, that are, you know, thinking they're in this big fight themselves, and they don't really. Some people don't have a clue what to do. Some people have got it, you know, figured out in a better way. But there is so much good quality people out there, like yourself, that are doing good business, that are trying new things, or are up for trying new things, partnerships, networking, doing deals. And instead of hearing just all the fucking bullshit that we see about the virus and all the rest of it all the time online and everywhere, I would rather have this type of conversation. And I'm so glad that we've managed to not really, apart from a couple of bits, even talk about this fucking COVID-19 and all this.
That's exactly it, mate. And just completely business-wise, I'm sick of hearing it. Like people bitching and moaning about it, man. I mean, look at me. Don't look at me. I'm not saying that. It's not what I mean. But look at my day-to-day. You know, it's not as if my business has stopped. Yeah. Yes, I can't get out and physically buy property, but I'm doing the groundwork right now and getting the investors and getting investors comfy so that when I get the green light that my lawyers and my mortgage brokers can get the deals over the line, we'll be off to the races and we will earn together frightening money. That's the main goal with everybody I bring in.
Absolutely. Well, sadly, it's the truth though that normally, not normally, it's been proven over the generations that people make the most money in times like these sort of crises and just after these types of crises. So that's proven. Unfortunately, there will be losers, but there's always winners and losers. There's always a trade-off. There's always, you know, if something works for one, it's not going to work for another. That's just life. So, Reece, you know what? Thanks so much for sharing some of your thoughts.
Thanks, mate, for having us.
Catching up. I'm glad to speak to, you know, a young guy who's out there fucking really pushing hard to create a really great business and to learn and to go into an industry which has got a lot of great potential in it. So well done you.